This is Bruce Hamilton, and when I'm not educating my opponents with lessons in pain, I'm right here listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
That's the difference between you and me. You talk about it, I do it.
Sit down, Marks.
Let me talk to you. Acknowledge me.
What's happening, everybody? Come on, sit down. We're back, just like Justin Gaethje, baby. Let's get this thing going. Episode number 190 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Welcome, everybody. Come on in, sit down. Thanks for listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, all those podcast platforms out there, as you hear me say sometimes. Welcome, man. Welcome. We're excited for this one, man. Sibling Gimmicks today is in the dropkick discussion. You know, those brother, tag team, sister, brother, family, all that stuff, man. We're going to talk about them, man, and coming up here in the dropkick discussion. How we feeling today, everybody? Welcome. Come on in. Here we go, man. It's summertime, man. You know, so it's you know, usually the summer's kind of like what they call, you know, a little bit of the lull in wrestling, you know, so to speak, but not right here. Not here. Not right now on the Sit Down Mars podcast. We're going to welcome in the boys all the way from the East Coast. You know him, the number one Lucha Daddy, Primo, my man.
What is up? Welcome to an episode about siblings. It's something I really enjoy talking about in wrestling. I've thoroughly talked about it before. I love it. So we're going to deep dive into that today. I'm a big brother guy myself, got two brothers of my own, so let's get it.
And you know him, the most well-traveled independent wrestling fan on the circuit, by God, bar none, the front row sitter himself, our guy. First of all, we haven't been on the podcast since Dylan's been on it, man. Dylan's had a birthday, man. Happy birthday, brother. Welcome to the podcast today.
Oh, brother. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Last year we were live on my birthday. This year we're about a week or so late, but you know, it's all good. Guess what? You're not going to believe this, guys. We are vibing and thriving.
No.
Vibing may have been at the highest of highs. Monday morning, 12:15 a.m., 12:30 a.m. Justin Gaethje getting that win, but that's a whole other podcast. We could do a whole hour over there. We got wrestling to talk about tonight.
Yes, we do, man. You know, not a whole lot going on. There's some pay-per-views, you know, coming up and that kind of stuff. But let's just talk about what's been going on in wrestling here lately. Primo, let's go, man. You know how we do. It's hot start time. 5 topics in the world of professional wrestling. 5 time. All right, topic number 1. So New Orleans was supposed to have a WrestleMania, right? And they took it from them, gave it whatever happened. So now they get Money in the Bank in New Orleans. And Money in the Bank, talk to me, right? Used to be May. They used to be the May pay-per-view. Is that right?
Yeah. It's historically been summertime.
Okay, yeah. So fall now, Money in the Bank. You know, which I always thought like they kind of did this Money in the Bank thing was usually like right after WrestleMania. So you kind of got almost a calendar year before you get back to Mania, you know, to kind of
you're
like
right. May, yeah.
Cash it in, right? But now moving this to October, this kind of compounds it. You know, I mean, WWE, you know, on my poop list, I tuned in to Raw last night, and there's another celebrity on there. I'm like, oh, Jesus Lord.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But, and Atlanta gets a Saturday night's main event, which I think is in like September in my notes. Yeah. And then they're doing one in July, I think, at MSG. But, if I'm New Orleans, I'm almost kind of happy because, I mean, there's been Super Bowl, or there will be WrestleMania is there again, you know what I mean? But outside, this is kind of the attractive one, I think, for New Orleans. What do you guys think?
I think that it's an interesting time placement.
Sure.
I always thought its placement in the May, June, July, early July time frame has been fine. It's always given us that, if they're not going to cash in the night of, are they going to cash in at SummerSlam? And then if they're not going to cash in at SummerSlam, they're like, oh, Survivor Series. Okay, not Survivor Series, then WrestleMania. But I guess that only takes out SummerSlam for this. But I don't know. I don't really recall what else would have been in that slot, but right in October. But it's fine. It's day before my son's birthday, so that's cool.
Yeah, I actually really like it because WrestleMania's got pushed back. It used to be like end of March, early April. Now we're in like late April when we're doing WrestleMania, and SummerSlam's in early August, and you are throwing, the King of the Ring in there. There's other like title opportunities coming in that time frame. Mm-hmm. And the fall, usually like outside of Survivor Series, the fall, winter, it usually kind of dead. After SummerSlam, between SummerSlam and Royal Rumble, and you get those WrestleMania wheels turning, not a whole lot happening in there. So yeah, I don't mind it. Now this is a college football Saturday, so will I be watching it live? Probably not, but that's beside the point. But like you said, DB, they've had WrestleMania. Don't have WrestleMania again, but like, yeah, it'll be cool. It's something. It's a change I don't mind. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, like maybe it'll make sense later, for the moving it to October. But I mean, the whole point of me talking about this was not a bad consolation prize, if you ask me, because this is a fun one. You get two of these matches, kind of like having a Rumble to me. Outside of the Rumble spectacle, I love this. You know what I mean? So,
one thing Dylan just mentioned, and I didn't think about it, and I did as soon as you mentioned it, and then I said earlier it's my son's birthday weekend. My son's birthday weekend always falls on Red River Shootout weekend.
Red River, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be that same day. That starts at 2:30. This better be like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. But I won't be tuning into this until Texas Longhorns whoop OU's ass like we do every year.
I just checked. This is actually Dreamwave Saturday, so I won't be watching college football or Money in the Bank. I'll be at Dreamwave.
There you go. All right. So, Dylan, let me get to you on this one. Topic number 2. So, ex-WWE wrestlers Big Damo and Nikki Cross by Progress Wrestling and Defy Wrestling. So, it's been a little bit. They've had, I think they've kind of had time to take over already. They've already kind of put this place in scheduling wise, I think in a couple of really cool, venues and that kind of stuff. But knowing, so Progress has kind of like always been kind of like the big indie in the UK, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So not going to lie, that UK scene is not one I am like super familiar with.
Sure.
I know like before the WWE UK, the NXT UK, like before that, I know it was really popping off. And I know they're still doing some cool stuff over there. We go Leon Slater and people like that. There's only one name I know, but like they're still doing some cool stuff over there. Defy is another one. Like DB, we've talked about like maybe one day, hypothetically, potentially, making a trip up to the Northwest to go to a Defy show. I like Damo and Nikki from what I know of them. Obviously, I don't know them personally or anything, but I like what I know about them. So. This is exciting, something different. I'm excited to see what exactly they bring to the table here.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of looking at this too as like, Big Demo and Nikki is kind of like running things over there as like, a little more of maybe like a partnership, right? So I went to a Defy show, but it was years ago. Like Darby was still on the indie scene at a place called Washington Hall, and it was freaking amazing, man. It was awesome. And like I always definitely like wanted to go back. But I thought this was interesting, but I like this because it's kind of like almost kind of like secures the longevity of the companies. And when it comes to indie wrestling, like I always like that. So all right, topic number 3, and we'll stay here with you on this one, Dylan. So Amazing Red is there was these like teaser packages about him. He's, that he's going to be there now. He just upright said, Amazing Red is going to be a Slammiversary, blah, blah, blah. What do you think? You think that's a good thing? You think like this is something they need? Because you're often one saying, man, like TNA's, it's good, but they really letting it down on this end, or they're not using these people as well. This could be the same thing about Amazing Red. You know what I'm saying? What do you think?
I don't know what to think about TNA anymore. They're doing an Ultimate X match at Slammiversary. I don't know. I haven't looked ahead at spoilers or nothing like that. But I just assuming Red will be in the Ultimate X match for the X Division title. It's their anniversary pay-per-view. He was in the early days of TNA, one of the pioneers of the X Division. That all makes sense. I don't see any like downside to it. I don't know if he's coming in as like a full-time roster member, or if Slammiversary is just a one-shot. Like I thought EC3 was coming back to the company and he worked like one taping, was on 2 weeks of TV. That was it. I don't know if this is something like that or if they're adding him. They got talent leaving like on a weekly basis anymore, it seems like. So there are roster spots available. I don't know if he'll fill one of those permanently, but like even if it's just a one-off, I'm okay with it. Like having that old school TNA person come in to do Slammiversary, that feels cool. I like that.
Primo, what do you think, man? You're an old school TNA fan too. You think bringing back Amazing Red would be pretty hype for the Slammiversary pay-per-view?
I think that it's definitely going to draw the viewers for that nostalgia. And then we'll see what happens after that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Primo, I'm going to stay here with you on this one. Topic number 4, man. I'm going to help you answer the question. Did Danhausen really help the Knicks win? You think this whole curse thing all kind of like, maybe did actually come together?
Yes.
Like,
Not only did he curse, then uncurse the Knicks, but he also cursed the Cavaliers. So, yeah. The New York Knicks owe a debt of gratitude to Danhausen.
Yeah. This has been my favorite thing about Danhausen so far, is this thing with
last night when they were showing like the whole video package about it, right? They were showing how in the crowd at the NBA events they were selling NBA hats with Danhausen masks on them. I was like, how cool! What a crossover,
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah, look at this. Check out this T-shirt here that's for sale.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I'm sure it will be for sale if it isn't already. Like, already a New York Knicks Champhausen shirt. So, but this is cool. What a clever way. Like, I feel like they are bonkers smart for using Danhausen in this fashion. Like it just, I mean, that's how you use him.
Like
right?
I always saw the NBA players like on WWE television, like in the crowd or interacting or whatever, like Halliburton and all that. But to see the WWE stuff on the NBA side and then see Danhausen, curse Stephen A. Smith and all that stuff is like still kind of interesting to see, because like growing up as that wrestling fan who was like, everybody's like wrestling's stupid, Right. Now I'm just like it's everywhere.
Right. God, yes. It's probably maybe more mainstream now than it ever has been, and TKO probably has a lot to do with that too. At least, you've seen on TV and stuff. How you feeling about this whole thing, Dylan?
Guys, he debuted in the end of February, early March, and got booed out of the arena in Chicago. And we're in the middle of June, and he's showing up on, like Primo just said, he's on ESPN. They're showing him courtside at Knicks games. He better be at least in the parade. Like, it's out of nowhere. He's the most popular guy on the roster, and it's not like Cody or Roman, where he's the champ, he's the number one guy. And it's not like the Brock Lesnar, like, oh, he's a real athlete, air quotes, like he actually fought. Mm-hmm. He's in that mainstream sports. No, he's the most gimmick of all gimmicks. He's cursing people. He's got the jar of teeth. He's got the mini housings. He's got the whole mad scientist thing. He's turning down Liv Morgan, which, I mean, come on, Dan.
Man, Wes, what the hell?
stronger man than myself, but I'm not responsible for an NBA title either. So what do I know? It is wild. I absolutely love it. I wonder how much of it is like we're so ingrained in the wrestling bubble, so we see all of the stuff. Like if you're just a casual Knicks fan, like how into it are you? You probably heard about it because it's been on ESPN and Fallon last night and everything. But I wonder if he's like at the forefront of their brain like he is ours. Because as far as I'm concerned, like he's responsible for the trophy. Like give him a ring, hang him a banner,
Right.
Go all the way with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just and like I've just just finding like, yeah, this is marketing. This is how you use Danhausen.
Yeah, the last time I remember like a crossover movement this big or whatever between WWE and other sports, maybe the Yes movement. Yeah, because they were doing the Yes. The crowds were chanting Yes everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah,
that's true.
Gosh, that you might be right.
All right, topic number 5. Primo, I'm gonna stay here with you on this one, man. I'm gonna ask you a question, brother. Would you go watch AEW the musical? Let me tell you what this is all about. AE Wrestling presents The Last Match. It's a pro wrestling rock experience. I don't know if you've heard about this before. This is the first on the Sit Down Marks podcast. I don't know if we ever talked about a musical, but AEW has announced that this thing is going to be called a pro wrestling rock experience. Is set against the backdrop of one wrestler's final pay-per-view event. The production combines an original 1980s inspired rock score, powerful theatrical storytelling, larger than life characters that audiences will cheer for, and world-class professional wrestling into a one-of-a-kind entertainment experience that features unforgettable songs, emotional performances, romance, comedy, and spectacle, while telling the universal experiment of retirement, legacy, love, family, and finding the courage to leave your life's work behind with your head held high. We've seen this movie, right?
So yeah, I was gonna say 2 things. Number 1 is this loosely about Sting, and then number two, I grew up. One of my mom's favorite movies of all time is Grease. So, yeah, I'd go see it.
I would.
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, why not?
They also go on to say, whether you've attended hundreds of wrestling events or have never seen a single match, fans in attendance will be able to follow every moment of the story.
Because we already did.
Right.
Now, there was a musical called The Last Match. I'm assuming it's got to be the same thing or very close to the same thing that was over here in the U.S. And Matt Cardona was like one of the main characters in it. This was 2 years ago, maybe, roughly. So I don't know if this is something different with AEW, like, being a title presenter of it, or if it's changed any or what, or if this is just like happening while they're in, the UK for that big pay-per-view they got coming up. But yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way, if I'm going to go see a musical, it might as well be about wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a few in my life, but it's not something that like I seek out. But I thought, wow, what a mesh right there. Like, yeah, give me John Moxley singing, the West Side Story song or something. You know what I mean? Like, heck yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dude, like that's crazy. But
Bull James. From NXT.
Oh, wow.
Him?
Yeah.
It says that former WWE star and ex-NXT sensation Bull James lends his expertise as the choreographer, crafting the sequences.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for him.
I remember him. He's the one that wore like the 2-strap singlet, right?
Yep.
Didn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the hot start, boys. But before we do, it's time to get to that city shout out, man. But I'm going to put like a little spin on this one this time. We're going to give a whole country a shout out this time, boys. Are we ready? Drum roll, please. Going down under for this one, boys. We're going to give a shout out to Australia. Now, let me tell you something. Like, obviously most of our downloads have came from the United States, and but and there's certain percentages of other little small countries, but the ones that have consistently been there, right under the USA, Australia's always been one of those couples. So y'all are a long way from us. I said y'all, so it's a little southern south for you of North Carolina, east United States. But for real, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. If you're new listening, if you've been listening to a long time, thank you guys so much. But I mean, Australia, that's sweet.
Australia, pretty cool, man. Let's see. I like the movie Kangaroo Jack. I like Alexander Volkanovski.
Love me some Volk, man. Yeah,
respectfully, we're gonna beat y'all Friday at the World Cup.
Yes,
game.
sir.
But thank you, Australia.
Shaza McKenzie, Rhea Ripley, the Iconics, Buddy Matthews, they know they're wrestling down there. So of course they listen to a sit down.
Grayson Waller,
they know Waller.
Yeah. Indy Hartwell, Indy.
What's funny is all
Indie
the wrestlers
wrestling.
from Australia completely did not. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, but shout out to Australia. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support and download and listen. We appreciate it, everybody. All right, it's time to move on to the dropkick discussion. But before we do, let's hear a little word from our old school friend from back in the day. One of the first guys on our podcast, man. Still love this guy to death, Bucky Collins.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins, and you're listening to Sit Down Marks.
Sit down, Marks.
Yeah. All right, boys. So, there's been so many different tag teams, and I've always loved a good brother-sister tag teams. The ones that, the ones that went to the full extent of dressing alike, had a little pose together, coming to the ring, so, such as one is like the Rougeau brothers back in the day, guys like the Young Bucks now, you know what I mean? Like all the way somewhere in between, and for, and even, having a manager that had like a code or something that matched too. Like there's always like uniform there. So, like in those kinds, as I constantly love and go back and watch old wrestling, and I see these old, tag teams, and I thought, why not talk about like, the tag teams and the families, even sometimes the trios, of different iterations of brothers and sister tag teams, whether that be they're really blood or they're not blood, probably most of the time, not, but we just thought we'd kind of throw out some names and remember some, and kind of talk about some of our favorites as we get going. Primo, why don't you get us started on this one, man? Give us a couple. See the counter at the top of your list.
Yeah, I won't shout them all out. I'll leave some room for you guys. But I will start off with the most obvious. I have the banner behind me. You guys usually see it. They're they're my favorite tag team of all time, and that's obviously Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys. They're real life brother tag team.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, what's more to say? Team Extreme, they're awesome. They're still going.
Going.
They are just they've always been cool to me, and they're not only my favorite tag team, probably my favorite brother tag team. But another one of my favorites would be when I wasn't busy growing up, when I wasn't busy pretending to be Jeff Hardy, me and my older brother were pretending to be the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah.
And now they are not real brothers as much as people think that, and happen to ask Undertaker, as he said in real life.
Kayfabe,
but just so you know, Dylan, Kane's not his real brother.
Nope, I don't believe it.
He didn't. He may not have actually lit him on fire. But no, Kane and Undertaker, obviously, they're not real brothers. They just happen to be very similar in size and have great chemistry. But that's another brother team for me. You can't go wrong with the current, probably one of the greatest tag teams currently wrestling and has wrestled in the last 10 years. That's got to be the Usos, the twins.
Usos.
And they're awesome. They really
And we, the ones.
they've really done a good job of reinventing themselves over time. You know, they started out doing the dance and face painting and coming out with Tamina and all that, and eventually led to their whole change to the Uso Penitentiary. To then, you know, through COVID, Right Hand Man was born when Jimmy was out, and then now they are what they are now. They ended up holding the titles the longest. SmackDown championships.
So.
Yeah. And the twins are, like I said, probably one of the greatest tag teams of the last decade or so, if not longer, a little bit longer. I got to give a shout out to my favorite WCW tag team. And I mean, I've said it before. When I was talking about their Texas Tornado match against the Nasty Boys at the concession stand, and that's Harlem Heat.
Hell yeah.
I love Booker T and Stevie Ray. Always been a big fan of Book. And I'll give you one more before I pass it over to one of you guys. It always bugged me that they mentioned whenever they first came in together, they were brothers, and then they were billed as brothers. They even acted like brothers. And then whenever Christian went heel and turned on Edge, he even did a storyline where he told Edge that Mom was in a car crash, and this whole thing, right? So they were still acting as brothers. And then later on, it's like they never mentioned that again. They were best. They were best friends the whole time. Yeah. So anyway, Edge and Christian would be the last brother tag team, although not real brothers. They are real life best friends.
All right, Dylan, let's see some of your lists.
Yeah. I'm just going to look at Primo's background and go from there. No, I'm kidding. These two just happen to be on his background. You know, he talked about the Hardys being his favorite tag team, or one of mine, probably my number two, but real life brothers, the Steiner brothers, or the first team that comes to my mind when you mention, you know, brother gimmick, brother tag team. You know, just awesome. That's one of the first wrestlers I think of when I think about WCW. Love them. Also on my list, I have Cody and Dustin, you know, technically like stepbrothers, I believe, but we forget how good they were as a tag team in that short little period. You know, like 2013, 2014, sometime around there.
Stardust, Goldust. They tagged, right?
They were Cody and Goldust first, and then, you know, had a little losing streak, and they brought out Stardust, and that's what everybody thinks of is they go to Stardust and Goldust, and that's why Cody left, and you know that's where the story goes. But they had a solid little run as a team against the Shield and some other forgettable tag teams. Shout out Ryback. Another one I had on my list, real life brothers, and maybe teamed a little bit, but they're more known for their feuds together than they are, you know, their teamwork. And that would be a Brett and Owen. And if you wanted to go down the list, you know, there's 18 other Hart brothers there with them you could throw in. But, you know, a little bit of a tag team before the feud started. But really it's that WrestleMania match and the SummerSlam cage match. And, you know, from there on, them going against each other. So, you know, brothers don't always get along. They got to fight sometimes.
Yeah.
Throw in a couple kayfabe here, and then I'll throw it over to DB. You got to go the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray, Devon. You know, throw in Spike. You know, again, you can go through a whole list of theirs if you want to go back to ECW.
For sure.
You know, a lot of people say they're the top tag team. I don't quite go that far, but you got to go you know, top 5 probably. Gold all over the place, ECW, WWE, TNA, Japan, so on. Have to mention the Dudley Boys in this. And one I really like, but you remember, you know, them for other things, but it's the Smoking Guns. Kayfabe brothers, but when Billy and Bart came in as the Smoking Guns, they were real life, you know, brothers that were, you know, rodeo cowboys, bull riding people. and then they broke up, and Bart kind of went one way, and Billy went to join Road Dogg and DX and become a huge star that way. But at one point they were kayfabe brothers once upon a time.
Yeah. And now we get Austin and
Colton? That's a good point. I didn't even have them. Yeah. There
Austin
you go.
and Colton. Yeah.
Actual brothers. Yeah.
Let me give you some current brothers. The Nemeth brothers. There's a couple there.
Yeah, I have them on here. Yeah.
A couple that I thought of, the Lucha brothers, Ray and Penta. How about Dante and Darius Martin? I thought about them as well. Looking old school here a little bit. Let me show you a picture here. I'm gonna show you 3 pictures throughout tonight, but this one you definitely gonna. How about these guys?
Oh yeah.
We got to talk about it. It's kind of a shitty picture, but you get it. Yeah,
pairings of them.
Right. Yeah. The Von Erichs. Yeah. In any iteration, you think brothers, they're always like a couple, 2, 3. Yeah. Any iteration that always come to the brain. We got to say the Bella twins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're on the girl side. You know what I mean? Like probably the.
They're the only sisters I thought of, not like a brother and sister. I got one of those on my list, but actual just sisters. They were the only ones I could think of.
Sure. Looking old school a little bit. I mentioned them earlier, but the Rougeaus, Jacques and Raymond. Also along that line, the Beverly brothers. One of those guys is Von Wagner's dad.
Yeah. Wild.
Lanny and Macho. You know what I mean? I always think about those two.
Yeah.
The Anawai family, there's 1,000 iterations there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Samoans.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw them back to you for the next couple, but the first one of the two that always jumps out at me, man. Eddie and Chavo, man. You know what I mean? I always think about those two. You know what I mean? So, but who else you got on your list, Primo?
Yeah. So you mentioned the Rougeaus. You mentioned the Von Erichs. You just mentioned the Wild Samoans. How about Briscoe brothers?
Yeah.
Both of them.
Which ones?
Yeah. I had it. Yeah.
Jack and Jerry or Jay and Mark.
Mark. Yeah. Both, all of them. Yeah, for
sure. We also have the Basham brothers.
Yeah, I had those on my list. Yeah.
Doug and
Danny.
Danny. Yeah. Doug and Danny.
Also, I'll give you one more, and I'll pass it back to Dylan. I have the Colognes, Carlito and Primo.
Yeah. I had those on my list. We've named a lot of the ones on my list here, but rattle off the last couple I had. I got to scroll see who we didn't see. The Armstrong brothers, Brian, Scott, Brad Armstrong, man.
Brad was the one, wasn't he? Wasn't he?
Yeah, so good. I'm going to talk DB's language here for a minute.
Let's go.
Barry and Kendall Windham on my list.
Yes.
We don't remember Kendall, but Barry is, phenomenal wrestler.
Blackjack Mulligan was his dad.
Yeah, that's another one where you just mentioned the whole family, kind of.
Yeah.
I mentioned I had another brother-sister combo, Shane and Stephanie, siblings in the business. And if you mention Shane and Stephanie, you can't forget Swoggle. I mean, the three of them right there together, the good old family ties there.
Right. Shoot, okay, right? Yeah.
The going through the list, one that kind of just came out of nowhere and hit me was the Harris brothers, Ron and Don. The DOA. They were the Blues Brothers before that.
Yeah.
There's I think a outside of the business reason they don't get talked about. But they came to mind for better or worse. Then two more, Terry and Dory Jr., the Funks. Gotta mention Terry Funk any chance you get.
Funks, dude. And all the Funks.
The last brother combo is like one of the more, we found out about it just recent, but it's John and Ron Cena, lifelong brothers. Talking about all-time greats. It's, the GOAT John Cena.
How could we forget?
Who could forget Ron Cena, man?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I always think about brothers too, like Earl and Dave, the Hebner referees.
Yes.
I always think about them. Davari brothers. Is it Sean?
Yeah. Yes. Sean and Aria.
Arya.
Yeah.
Arya.
Yeah.
Davari?
Wow.
That
Yeah,
sounds
they
right.
slipped my mind completely. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them was a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Another thing too, like I'm still trying to Google it and wait and see. Ricky Steamboat had a brother that he tagged with, and they're real life brothers. And I want to say his name is like Via, something like that. I remember he had a brother.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
We said Young Bucks, right? I mean, we have to. I think
we mentioned them at some point. Yeah,
You had to, especially Dylan's wearing the shirt. That's why I made sure not to say them.
They do everything right, man. Like those guys, like marketing, like everything. But I'm gonna show you these last two pictures here. You know, enlighten me, boys. I'm gonna show you two pictures here. And when I think of brothers, you know, I'm from the old school. These guys, one team is a jobber team, the other team is a badass train team.
I think I know where you're going.
You know what I mean? All right, let's start off with the badasses first, okay? You know, these guys right here, anybody know who these guys are?
Oh, the one on the right looks familiar. All
right, so the guy on the
I'm
left,
gonna say no.
the guy on the left is Buzz Sawyer, and on the right is his brother Brett.
Okay.
Buzz Sawyer.
Yeah.
These guys, man, if you ask any wrestlers, the Warriors, like anybody from back in those days, like who had a hand in helping train you, get you ready to be a wrestler, this was Buzz right here. Buzz would go in like bars and look for people that look like they could be wrestlers with the bouncers and stuff. I always remember these two as brothers. Just legendary, like go watch a couple Buzz Sawyer matches, man. He wore like these big like below his knee, like the big furry kind of berserker type you know what I'm saying, but he looked but he was like so fluent, man, and that dude was in such great shape, phenomenal wrestler. He was awesome. And then the last two here, let's see, you guys ever seen these two guys before?
Yes, sir. I had them on my list, but I knew you were going to mention them.
Yeah, you knew I was. Yeah. So this was Bill and Randy Mulkey, right? Not Monkey, it's Mulkey, Mulkey. These guys were the jobbers. These guys are the reason why they come up with the name jobbers from back in the days. Like, but make no mistake about it, man. Like these guys got the fucking hell beat out of them on numerous occasions. They kept coming back. I think Bill's on the left. I think Randy's on the right. Randy could bump like a motherfucker, dude. This dude could bump like, I mean, he was a small guy in stature like everybody, but he could bump so good, man. He could make me and you look like awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this was like my first like real idea of seeing like brothers whenever I was younger. Maybe this is why I like the guys that like that dress together. Look at them, they're doing an interview, they look the same. They
I'm just curious why they have shirts off for this.
Right, yeah. And you know, and
in the 80s Crockett, that's
right. Over time they became like the fan favorites, you know, like everybody loved them, and you know, they would get the hell beat out of them all
they look like they just got done mowing the lawn, doing yard work.
I seen the Road Warriors put these guys on their spines and necks and heads like so many times. Tully Blanchard and Arn. Holy hell. But and they would always dress the same too in the ring. It was just I just loved it, man. It was great. But that's pretty much all on my list that like I can remember. Just a few minutes ago I did Google to see there were some guys that we were missing. The Coffee Brothers. Is it Joe and
Mark and Joe?
Mark and Joe.
Yeah.
The Creed brothers. Brutus.
Wow.
Julius. Brutus and
them.
Julius.
It's in the name,
Right, Primo. Yeah, right there.
Right. Yeah. But I've always loved like I hope like this type of gimmick never dies. I hope there's another one that comes along. There's a, you know, there's a couple of girls that are independent wrestlers that wrestle for Dreamwave. They're called the Hell Twins. And like you know, they get my attention instantly already because they look the same, they dress the same, they kind of act the same, hair always kind of looks the same, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kind of like flashy old school, like in that manner. You know what I'm saying? And I just love that part of wrestling. I just hope that like it never dies and like people keep coming along like that want to do something in wrestling. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? And you
course.
mentioned that Kinsey, Paige, and Kylie Alexa, Pretty Empowered, NWA, they're another sister team. We mentioned a lot of kayfabe teams. Like those might be my favorites when there's just, two guys stuck together as siblings. And then, like Primo said, 5 years later, we just completely drop it and go, oh, they've been best friends since junior high. Are we too smart for kayfabe siblings at this point because of the internet and everything? Like if there was these two guys on NXT next week and they were like, oh yeah, they're brothers, are there going to be too many people on the internet going like, no, they're not, this guy's last name is John and this guy's last name is Brad?
Probably.
Like, are we just past that point?
I think that probably would take the fun out of it because we have the internet at our disposal now.
I can't wait till I post this picture on Instagram tomorrow of us talking about the Mulkey brothers. Everybody's gonna be like, "What?"
And then, likewise, on the other end of that spectrum, the real life siblings. It seems to always be. You always wait for the day when the real life siblings are going to feud, and Matt and Jeff or Jimmy and Jay or whoever else. But and they always even though they did their little singles feud, they're still brothers, and they're still going to get back together at some point.
Yeah, they usually those matches usually don't go like all that great. Like Matt and Jeff feud against each other wasn't awesome. The Jimmy J match at WrestleMania wasn't awesome. Like Brett Noah might be the exception. It's
right.
Never see this guy's team. Yeah.
Yeah, the turn is usually good. You know what I mean? But it's like like I just watched I showed you guys that pay-per-view. I think it was like Armageddon. Yeah, and I think Matt turned on.
Is that whenever he hits him with a chair?
Hits him with the chair.
The house down?
Yeah.
The next month. Yeah, to Rumble.
Yeah. I was like, I remember that. Like, it was awesome. You know what I mean?
Jeff's dog was in the house. The whole thing. Yeah.
I remember they were 1-2 in the Rumble one time. And they started off the Rumble together going forward. But hell yeah, I hope this never dies. I hope we get another good sets of twins roll through. Yeah, man, I love it. Hope it keeps going. All right, boys, that's going to do it for the Dropkick discussion. Let's head on out of here and head on home. Let's hear a word from the man, the going viral man, the one, Sabotage, Sean Logan.
This is Sabotage, and you're listening to Sit Down Mark's podcast.
All right, we'll remind everybody, go follow at Sit Down Marks on all those podcast and social media platforms out there. Appreciate you guys all checking us out on sitdownmarks.com. Remind everybody we are live. All the flagship podcasts are live on sitdownmarks.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to remind you that volume 10 of Dreamwave Prelude is available now. The Prelude tapings are at the next Dreamwave Prelude tapings. Let me start over. The very next Dreamwave Prelude tapings are going to be at Dreamwave All-Star Weekend, which as we record this is coming up this weekend. There's going to be a match at Uprising 8 and a match at Eva of Destruction on Saturday. Let's get it, man. It's Indy 3 time, Dylan, man. We got the big weekend, obviously, with Dreamwave All-Star Weekend. We did the preview on a volume 9, I believe it was, of the weekend. So we won't talk too much about that, man. But man, what a huge weekend. 3 Dreamwave shows in 2 days, man. It's about to be awesome. It's probably going to be over like in a blink of an eye, but man, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, All-Star Weekend, IHOP Weekend, it's all hitting this weekend.
Yeah, buddy.
Because we did the preview, I'm going to leave Dreamwave out of my Indy 3. If you want
Sounds
that,
good.
like DB said, go back and check out episode 9 of Prelude. I think this might be the biggest indie weekend since WrestleMania. Like everybody's running this weekend, it seems like. For my 2 and 3, you could really interchange them here. I'm going to throw some love at Limitless. I believe the show's live on YouTube. They also have a new deal with like the AEW streaming thing that's going on. I don't know too much about that. I got to figure out more about that. But Limitless has a stack show up there in Yarmouth. Check them out. My number 2, GCW's got a big weekend in the Midwest. Their Friday show is one I'm really got my eyes on. Aaron Williams getting a shot at the title. That'll be live on Triller TV, GCW. And my number one outside of Dreamwave, I would have put Dreamwave here, but like I said, they're in our other preview. So my number one in the MD3. West Coast Pro has a stupidly stacked card this week. Again, I believe it's live on YouTube. It's on Saturday night. Vinny Massaro defending against Adam Priest. Johnny Robbie and Billy Starks going one-on-one. Tim Bosby versus Alpha Zoe. Danny Garcia and LeBron Cazone. Gary J's on the card. It's just like they're like summer blockbuster, if you will, live on YouTube. Those three shows plus several more, all the Dreamwave shows, other GCW stuff, like it's all in the preview this week. Plan is for it to go up Wednesday night. So if you're watching us live tomorrow, if you're listening on audio, that would be tonight. That will be on my socials at DHAGERJ15. It gets pinned to the top whenever that comes out.
All right. Coming up here, summer schedule time. July is a very busy month for myself. Primo's pretty busy too. So we're going to continue to crank out for the month of July some more Preludes over on sitdownmarks.com. And also, I think Primo's going to be dropping another cheap pops in July as well. So happy summer, and we'll be coming back. Probably I think it's like first couple days in August with another full schedule for you. But let's talk about this, boys. Let's talk about where we are. So less than 2 weeks from AEW Forbidden Door. I feel like AEW is kind of like hitting on right now. I like their storylines. I think the matches have been really good. Dynamite's been awesome lately. What's next for WWE? They got Night of Champions. Is that before SummerSlam?
Yeah. That same weekend as the AEW one you just mentioned.
Forbidden Door.
That
Forbidden Door, Slammiversary, and the WWE one you just mentioned. Wow, I'm drawing blanks.
They're all three champions.
They're all three that same weekend. Yeah.
Wow, nice. I didn't realize that was all going to come up same. Damn. Yeah. Boy, Slammiversary. TNA's ballsy then for putting.
I think they announced their date first. It's on Sunday. And then AEW announced their date. And now TNA is running Slammiversary at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon or something like that. So there might be some overlap, but probably not a whole lot.
That's the equivalent of running an indie show and then WWE coming down and running a Raw at the or something at the arena in your town. Yeah, poor TNA. Dang. All right, boys. Well, guess that's going to do it for another podcast. Episode 190, Primo. We're just like 10 takes away from 200, brother.
That's insane. Yeah. I mean, I've said it so many times. You know, we did 10 podcast episodes, and we thought that was a lot. And then we did 50. Then we did 100. Now we're almost at 200. So, I mean, it's awesome. We've come a long way, and can't wait to see where we're at 250.
Yeah, pretty wild. I'm excited for the episodes of Dreamwave Prelude coming up. I want to plug that for a minute, man. That's like if you really want to support us, that's the way to do it, man. I mean, other than downloading the podcast, obviously, but man, that's where like most of our work is going, is with trying to get Dreamwave Prelude, into something by supporting independent wrestlers, giving these independent wrestlers, the guys and girls that you see on Dreamwave Prelude are the guys and girls that most of the time, 95% of the time, I can say, are not on the main shows. So what you see is something for them to do. They're getting matches out of this. They're getting to cut promos, for us, they're making money, doing it, otherwise, in return, we want to be able to create and do this platform the best we can for them first, us second, and everybody is happy in the end. Thanks again to Dreamwave for, letting us do this. But, go to sitdownmarks.com, subscribe, check out these Dreamwave Prelude shows, follow along. If you buy a Dreamwave ticket, come out early and check out the matches. We got 2 awesome matches for you this weekend if you're going to be at Uprising or Evo Destruction
Dreamwave,
on Friday
yeah.
or Saturday. So,
Hey, on that note, DB, we cannot forget
hitter
at Dreamwave this weekend. Speaking of
fire,
Dreamwave,
my brother,
Uprising,
fire it.
we're going to have merch in the
Yes.
merch room. Not just stickers. We'll have those also, I'm assuming. But we will have hats and T-shirts available for you to purchase
Yeah, and
in the
I'm
merch
cutting-
room at Dreamwave both nights.
Yes, and I got
Yeah.
sizes small through 3X. So, medium through 3X. We're going to cover mostly just about everybody. I'm cutting some great deals if you want to get a hat and a shirt. Everything's going to come with free stickers, obviously. But yeah, we got some merch and really want to get it out there, man. So if you guys want to really support, that's another way to support us. But, if you already are, thank you guys so much, man. We appreciate it. And we hope this thing just keeps getting better and better and turns out to be a good thing for everybody and most importantly for the wrestlers that we're trying to feature here. So, all right, boys, let's take her to the house, man. For DB, Primo, and myself, I'm the Dirty Bird. We are the Sit Down Marks podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to the new listeners for hanging out too. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. And we'll see you guys next time and keep spreading that good word of professional wrestling. God bless the Mulkey brothers.